Hello. All right. See here. Is the audio good? Okay. I know. I'm probably a little bit low. How's it going, Tavon? All right. Sorry it took me a little bit. Was sharing the link around, make sure people could know that I was up, that I was live. How are you doing today? Mm. All right. I got line work. Audio is fine. Awesome. I want to erase a little bit here and there, definitely on some of the line work. Okay, it looks a little bit better. It's not too crazy, so that's good. Yeah, I really like the way these two pages turn out. Not too much I would change about them. I think they work very well. All right, there's this little line going through everything, which I noticed. It's over here. I'm gonna go ahead and get rid of that now. Basically, just have to go ahead and just get rid of this. This is the edge of when the page was scanned. Get rid of that. Get rid of this part of this number. Cool. Yeah, it's looking nice. Now, I could I think I'm gonna do something with the sound effects here. They are basically pretty darn bland. So I'm gonna go to a background layer. I'm gonna go ahead and select the area. So I feel like they're a little bland. Select these ones as well. You know, maybe later in life, I'll find some really good fonts to use instead of doing my sound effects by hand. But for now, I'm pretty okay with doing them by hand or just drawing them out on the computer. I feel like it gives a little bit of extra character to your art. Definitely the ones that are probably drawn directly on the paper. But, you know, you can't just do it because you want to. You also have to make it look decent and like work well enough. So I'm always trying to make them a little bit better, like work for the moment, you know. I'm still figuring everything out when it comes to that. So you can go for this one, paste. Now that's too dark, right? So all I have to do is I'm not gonna expand. What I'm gonna do is shrink. I'm gonna shrink it by, let's say, sure, how about 10? I'm gonna shrink the selection. Doesn't look like it's enough. Do it again. By 10. Okay, that's too much right there. Undo. So maybe 10 is enough. Let's see what it looks like. So if I were to invert selection, let's see. Can I erase it out? Yeah, that's not enough. Let's try that. Oh, 4. Okay, I picked the wrong thing again. Thought this was shrink. Oh, it's inverted, isn't it? Of course. Okay, that makes sense. thinking, I don't want these to like take up too much of your attention. How's it going, Yumiko? Sensei. Oh, teacher. I can teach. I'm trying to make sure that these sound effects pop out, but don't take up too much attention. I know what I'll do. I'll actually just kind of go darker on one of the areas. Oh, thank you. Yeah, I think this one turned out pretty good. I'm happy about that. Oh yeah, so learn something. Let's see. If I turn this on here and I use this, what happens? Nothing. Okay, so maybe my settings are wrong. Oh, okay, I know what it is. I have to go to gray, then turn it on, right? Yep, there we go. Okay, let's see. If I reduce it, does it get bigger? Yeah, it does. So I have to be careful on that one. So I guess it kind of stands out, but also not too much. Just kind of what I'm going for. Let's see, if I put it like 25. Looks okay. But I don't want it to pop out too much. One of these probably should be lighter. So let's also change this one. Gonna copy, cut and paste it. How would I change that? Oh, okay. If I make this into this one normal, so if I change it to white and I use this, I should go ahead and be able to select this area. Not enough. Turn that off. Select the area again. Oh, yes. I basically, so how I usually start a manga, Yumiko, is I usually think of some of the central characters and the story I want to tell with them. And then I usually build a world that feels like it makes sense around them. And I kind of go from there. I just kind of keep building things up and around them that work with the consistent theme that I want the story to follow to help tell their story. So, yeah. I also try to incorporate things that would make sense for to be there, including hardships, things that they would have a problem dealing with, people that they would have a problem dealing with, concepts as well. Would this be better if... Actually, no, it's pretty cool. So now what I need to do is kind of clean these up a bit. They look a little... They could be cleaned up a little bit more. See, I got some of it on the line work here. So after we finish up these two sound effects, we're gonna move over to the last 2 pages. That'll be pretty cool. So that looks better. It's a lot cleaner. Streaming has been really fun. I just feel like I end up learning a bunch just doing it. Alright, so that looks a lot more crispy right there. It's not as flat as it used to be, and it doesn't just sit there and go unnoticed or whatever. It's not too flat. This one here is fine, and then you have this right here going on. So I think it kind of works. Yeah, nothing kind of gets lost. That's the only thing I'm usually worried about. Maybe this could be lightened up a bit. Let's try to go to that. Yeah, that works a lot better. Let's go ahead and save. Oh yeah, so the last panel here, I was kind of looking at it, and I was like, I think it looks really nice. Some stuff here and there I would change, but for the most part, it looks nice, and I like it a lot. I was thinking about, this, oh, sorry about that. Totally forgot to turn down my notifications. Hmm. But I was looking over here at this part right here, and I was like, okay, that actually has to get darker because it's like in the bottom area like that. So I'm gonna try and do that as well. And shouldn't get that dark, right? Because it's still one of the lightest things on the character, but it should get a bit darker regardless. So this is these shadows here. Trying to get a darker one. Is it this one? No. Got it. It's a small little detail type thing, but I thought it should be done. See, can you even see that? Yeah. Alright, cool. Also was thinking, wouldn't it be cool if I could show some of that lighting on the butterfly? You see here. You can use airbrush. Guess that could be cool. Alright, so kind of think this page is done, or these two are done. I think they look pretty cool. Go ahead and close those. Open up this one here. Alright, so here's our layout. I'm going to go ahead and make a folder at the bottom. Go ahead and, well, if that's already in a folder, close it. I'm going to go ahead and close all these folders and see if I can make it easier on myself, but nope. So go ahead and select all these other files or layers. Go ahead and drop them in the folder. I hate when I do that. I wish you could like unselect one of these. That would be dope. That's fine. Okay, so I can go ahead and drop all of them in a folder. Scroll up to the top, close the folder. So saves us some space. I believe this doesn't also need to be in here. So turn that off. Go ahead and import the last two pages in here. It's page 20 and 21, supposedly. Are you serious? Dude. It says that I'm in that. Weird. Okay, try again. Alright. Turn off. Oh, not that. Actually, what layer is that? Overlay texture. Ooh. Okay. Gotta learn about that a bit later. So we know that this one's gonna go all the way over. we have majority of everything else going here. So I'm sure it probably fits something like this, but it's probably smaller. Probably like that. And I can always just, that's not what I wanted to do, please. Please go above the layer. Thank you. Alright, so I know that I can turn on multiply and then turn on the layer underneath the check. Yep, it's basically lined up the way I needed it to be. Cool. Now I'm going to go ahead and import the other. Now this is a relatively, darker scene, so I might actually go ahead and enhance some of the darkness here, just in case I don't feel like it's dark enough. Let's go ahead and check by turning this again to multiply, turning on the other layer, see if it matches up, and yep, basically matches up. Cool. Now automatically see a part of this that's going to have to go. Cutoff point, or, well, where the thing goes is right here, so I think I'll go ahead and cut that off now. And it's on this, no, it's on this page here. Gonna have to rasterize both of these. And clip that off, so I don't have to worry about that. And I may have clipped off just a little bit more, it looks like, than I needed to. So I have to be careful about that. I'll just leave it about that much. Alright, now to actually clean all of this. Oh wait, is that another thing I have to get rid of there? Yes. Alright. So I'm going to go ahead and get ready to clean all of this stuff. Gotta go ahead and convert brightness to opacity, which is in edit. So do that here as well. Start on 20. I think I'm going to go through the program again and kind of try and figure out which tools I really don't want to use anymore, and customize it to the point where, as though, like, I don't have those tools unless I reinstall them, because at the moment I've gotten a usual flow of how I like to do my pages, and since I know that, like, I majority of the time or technically all the time, I'm drawing pages by hand and then scanning them in. I only need tools for that part of the process. So there's a big portion of stuff in here that I don't need to have around anymore. It's kind of like right now, right? I don't have the other menu up, like this one, I believe it is, right? But I don't even use fill leftover or select garbage. All I use is remove dust. That's the only one I use. So it allows me to keep this closed right now, right? But as soon as I have to select, obviously, like brushes and stuff like that, that makes sense because each one of those tools can give me a different type of line variation and everything. I can change the thickness of it, from my keyboard shortcuts and stuff like that. But overall, they're like different paintbrushes, different pens, pencils, so that makes sense. But when it comes to stuff like the move tool or eyedropper and stuff like that, um, I don't really need to keep this panel open. So I'm thinking of rearranging some of how my workspace looks on Clip Studio. This is relatively clean, actually. I'm surprised. Yeah, cleaning the page is a bit monotonous, but yeah, it's pretty quick and gets done well. I don't know. Kind of happy that it's not as a tedious process as just zooming in with a pencil and erasing things. Even though it can, right? You can still do that work, that type of work, when it comes to cleaning your comic page. But I'm happy that there's tools like this that helps uh, creators kind of just worry about making a good story and making good art. Because when it comes to stuff like that, that's the type of stuff that's in probably every job that makes you feel like, why am I doing this again? But eventually, you either embrace that process or um, you create something within that so that you make that easier on yourself. So I'm happy that they have tools like this because I would have had to innovate or whatever, um, which I don't have a problem doing. It's just, yeah, it's little things. Hope you guys' projects are going well. If you guys are working on any. Okay, that actually got off the paper. Nice. Alright, all done with that page. Open this back up, turn the border effect off, go to this one. Alright, so I'm gonna just go ahead and hit this whole thing. There's not many details here that I will lose. Same thing with the top and over here. Okay, I was right. Yeah, it's nighttime, so that wouldn't be as much details anyway. So, not too worried about these lines here. Make sure again. Right? Yes. Cool. Alright, now we can get started with the usual other part of the process. Turning these layers blue. Why not duplicate this actually? And then as I need them, I'll just turn them the color I need them to be. Alright, so this is going to be red. Go ahead and pick the lighter value and then the darker value. Okay, I was just going to use the pen for that one then, since it's kind of leaking out. Alright, let's see what else we got. Now I'm confused. Why weren't these picked up at all? Maybe I just never went over them. Nope, it's not even picking them up here. Okay, I got that one. Interesting. Okay. I'll just have to erase those out later. Hey, how's it going, Dante? Hmm, that in there. Sure. All right. Down here. Of course I missed that. It's okay. All right. Everything else I can basically do with a pen. Go ahead and fill these in. Actually, no. Oh, come on. That's not even that big of a hole there. But okay. All right. Kind of getting the bulk of it done now. Not going to do that. It won't read well if it's that small. And I seem to forgot to fill this in over here. It's starting to kind of sort of come alive, you know? Things are starting to kind of show up a bit better, so that's great. Yeah, if you guys were here yesterday, I was speaking about like how I kind of struggle with like allowing myself to do like fan art and stuff. Like when I was younger, I would always just try to focus on getting better at drawing or writing or anything that dealt with just me getting better at my own craft and stuff, other than just drawing fan art. But nowadays, I'm trying to allow myself to do it. I recently practiced sketching out Battle Angel Alita. Not from the movie version, though I think that version was pretty good. I was sketching out from one of the books that I own. Um, it's pretty far. It's in like it's her last order outfit. I think it looks pretty distinct. I don't know what's up with the manga artist or the mangaka. I think he might be sick or something. I'm not sure, but I hope he's doing okay. If you guys haven't checked out Battle Angel Alita, I think it's actually worth a read. It's fairly old. I think it started uh, around a similar time to Ghost in the Shell, the manga. Like they started around the same time. And they have some of the same core things in it, except Alita is more battle oriented than Ghost in the Shell. Yeah, for Alita. At some point, he had gotten sick after that movie came out, which I know was like over a year ago at this point, or yeah, it's over a year at this point. But after that, I know the chapters were slowing down as far as coming out consistently. So he might be still a little sick, but probably just working through it, which is, kind of sucky. But yeah, but yeah, like Alita's pretty cool. Um, I'm drawing Alita because I like the character, though Alita is not necessarily my favorite character in that manga. But yeah, check it out. If you like, dang, I don't even know what I would say. If you like a character who gets to kind of be themselves, uh, if you like a comic that has really nice, consistent artwork, um, character progress, and a character who's not forced to consistently be a hero type, to just be her own person, um, Battle Angel Alita is a pretty good place to look for that. And I see that I forgot to add this, even though it evidently needed to be filled in here. Yeah, and it's also definitely in that lineup of stories and concepts where they actually got cyberpunk correct because they helped literally create it. You know, you got your Blade Runner, Ghost in the Shell, Akira, you know, and also Battle Angel Alita is in there. I think there was a movie that came out some time ago called Elysium that basically had the concept straight up, like, not ripped, but like definitely inspired by a lot of the things that were in Battle Angel Alita. So now I'm going to turn this one green because I don't think I need to use a darker value for any of the character art here. I've kind of mainly got it in there, so thinking I'll just go ahead and drop certain people here in shadow. So I'm going to go ahead and use this same value. Favorite tool in Clip Studio right there. The lasso fill. And also been thinking, can I put a screen protector on this thing? On the Cintiq? I think you can. Because if I can, I just think I should buy one. Because I always feel like I would like a little bit more friction. Just a little bit. Okay, I was like, why is it saving? A little bit more friction on here would make this device a little bit more drawable. So I think I'll try that. Oh, really? Nice. Yeah. Yeah, Cintiq's great and all, but yeah, the friction. It's like same thing with like the iPad. iPad's great. The pen design is extra great, right? Because it feels very close to a actual pencil. But a slippery screen is always going to be a slippery screen. It's always going to be something extra you'll have to like fight in order to make it work correct. Alright, so I'm looking at this now, right? I'm seeing that Halo's hair is going into Makim's shadow, right? And they're using the same value. So I have two options. Hold on, let me erase all this. So I have relatively two options. One, I could lighten the shadow, right? So I could take this tool here, airbrush. I always keep using the light airbrush. It's probably on soft, and I could just literally, right, because it's on a different layer. I can literally just lightly go over it here until it gets closer to his foot and keep it that way, so that you know that it's doing that. And let's see how that looks anyway. Looks like that. And I don't know if that works completely. It looks okay. Or, let me undo. Or I can go here and I can kind of erase out. How's it doing that? Oh no, it's just my mind because it wasn't completely erased. Okay. So I can kind of erase out where the light would be hitting him since he's still looking towards it relatively. And since this is kind of aimed up, I can erase a part of that. And the same thing goes for the top of Samar's head here. And the same thing goes here, the shape here. So we can kind of make it a bit more realistic, even though we're using it to kind of separate the foreground from the middle ground. It can kind of become a little bit more believable, or like just better lighting, I guess. Better lighting situation. So we can instantly tell, oh, these guys are in a different, location relatively on the screen. This guy's in front of that guy. You can tell by the thickness of the line work that's separating them. And then you can also tell by the lighting that's hitting this guy, the shadow behind him. Right? Even do more, like go around like this. So it's literally behind his head to that angle. Right. So that looks pretty cool. That works, and it definitely separates things visually on the screen, on the frame. Yeah, I think that works. Don't have to add any clouds in the background for this one. I could, but I'm not going to. Dang, I could though, right? But I feel like it's a pretty much focused scene. If I did do it, it would be very, what is it called? Nuance? Let's see. I take my pen tool in this, and I just kind of created some shapes to kind of show that off. Technically, I could also just use my lasso fill. Hey Kai, if you're here, what did you think of the new mechanics they're trying to add into Street Fighter V? Feel like I like the counter mechanic. It'll look pretty cool. Looks like they're trying to balance some things out now a little bit more. So that's pretty cool. Looks fantastic. You think you're gonna reinvest into it? Nice. Yeah, I thought it looked nice. I wonder if it's because the new people that they have, well, not new, but the guys you have in charge now are finally getting some time in the limelight, essentially. And they're adding a little bit extra to like the production of the game. since they seem to be actual fans of the game series, they're willing to try some different things out. I think that's working. Yeah, I'm actually willing to leave it just like that. You kind of tell something's back there. It's not in clear view. It's kind of, what is it called? Dang, what is the word for something that's not in, blurred, right? It's kind of blurred out. It's like you can see something back there, but it's not that important. It's just clouds, you know. So now I'm thinking also, it's kind of a, it's kind of bright right here. So, see, top part of the back would be here, and then things would kind of, something like that. That's too much. Let me see here. Alright, that's, see if I can, oh, I can't do that, okay. So, I'm going to go ahead and go around like this. And now I'm going to, I really got to change the way this application works. I really have favorite tools. No point in me just kind of leaving it the way it is. So the only problem is, this might be too, yeah, it's too sharp there. If I was going to do it, I would just have to do it with a softer tool in general. And then I'll probably also soften it. I mean, well, erase a bit of it. Like this. Yeah, that's pretty decent. Nope, that kind of doesn't really need to be there actually. It's not really helping anything. could definitely put something on the butterfly though, where like it's starting to kind of come into view. Kind of like that glow effect that you see sometimes. That might not be enough. Yep, looks kind of like that when it's further away from your face. So I'm kind of jumping around, kind of going with what sticks out to me and going straight to it. Okay. So I'm gonna do both of these here. You wonder if you should go back to using the Infinity Gauntlet? Um, yeah, it's a pretty great device. I would say, you know what I use it for. I use it to, if you guys don't know, we're talking about the, like the numpad thing. So it's this little numpad device, multiple little, keys on it. It's by, I think it's by Targus? No. Who made this thing? I forget the name of the freaking company, but it's called the Tartarus V2 or version 2, I believe. And yeah, it's a really useful device. I've been using it mainly for digital art, and I kind of just put what are they called? Keyboard shortcuts on there. I just map it to each button that I want to use. Only problem is when I don't do enough. Yeah, the Razer Tartarus. Yeah, Razer made it, right? When I don't do enough digital art at my desktop, I sometimes forget the keys that I kind of put on it. So I'm like, oh crap, I don't remember everything. All I remember is a few keys. And that'll be like save, bracket keys for making the brush size bigger and stuff. but over time I end up like forgetting. No need to be neat here. Okay. So I'm gonna go ahead and let me see, make sure this is different. Yep. Put that there. Of course, I think I forgot or I missed a part of that here. I'm gonna do the same thing. Technically with the butterfly. Alright. Samara's paw here. So everything is there. I'm gonna go ahead and select the outside of all these lines, which is pretty easy. When it works well, right? It's easy when it works well. So basically you can go outside the lines, but all you gotta do is select the area outside of your line and you automatically get like the edge of the line to work as like a border. That's kind of how I use it when I don't want to be neat. So if the interior has a bunch of lines in it that are like closed or whatever, and you're not going to be able to easily get the whole thing, you can just do that. I think actually Clip Studio might have a tool that works even better than that process. Like it'll just fill something if you go over it, but I don't know it. I don't know it. Okay. We got most of that in there. I'm gonna go ahead and do the thing we did on the other page. And that'll work really well too. So who's the closest to the light would be Halo, is closer. So he would be a little brighter over there. Just a little bit. Try to hit mainly the top part of the strands, even though I'm going to hit some of the other ones. Alright. And I only need to... This also filled in? What is? Okay. Actually, no. I don't need to touch that at all. Just need to touch the top part of this guy's hair. Right, just that much. And I also think that I never filled in this other part here, so I did it like this now. It would get a little bit darker. Yeah. But yeah, Kai, I think it would be a good idea to like try it out again. I didn't know you actually stopped using it. Uh, I think you were using it mainly for like, what did you use it for actually? I remember I was showing you that I was using it for Clip Studio, and you say you didn't think of that. So what were you using it for before? Oh, was it the stream setup stuff? Where you could like kind of switch between like different screens and stuff like that when you were streaming? I think that might have been it. Primarily for streaming functions as well. Okay, where hmm, see what time it is. Oh, it's only 10:19. Cool. See a line I want to kind of clean now. Like, wait a minute. There we go. Sure, right? That looks a lot better to me. Alright, now we're gonna erase out the eyes. Cool, like that. Let's go ahead and erase this little line here. Yeah, I see some parts of this kind of smeared here and there. Luckily not very much, but here and there. Make sure you guys are staying hydrated, unlike me. I really forget. It's literally like right in front of my arm, and I still forget to drink something. Alright, so the cool part is that now I can kind of drop this whole thing in shadow here. And I think I'll also use some sort of texture so it's not completely flat. If I can't achieve that, I'll cover it flatly, but then I'll erase out with a texture. So, yeah. I already have some shadows here and there. I don't know if I want to add a secondary thing about that or not, but yeah. And also the Z's I'll probably leave light. Since they stand out, they'll stand out pretty much. And that'll also indicate just how loud this guy is snoring. I think that's a cool thing to do. So I'll make this one green here. Go all the way down. A little bit further than that. And go a little bit further than the cutoff point. Because you know, if you don't go far enough, right, it might get cut off at a weird place, and then when you see it printed, you'll see that it's almost like someone missed where they cut, and it cut off a little more than what they should have, so you'll end up seeing exactly where you wanted it to cut off, which would be, you wouldn't even notice it, but then you will actually see it. It's a really bad explanation, but I'll try more to explain that better. So I'm going to erase this out here in this panel, so that'll pop out. Alright, so it's not necessarily about the lighting per se, though I would say, let me see here, which one we have. It's this one, right? So what I'm going to do is pull up that brush density a bit. It's kind of like, to me, it's kind of like brush opacity. That's what brush density for me stands like, or what it stands for. And I'm going to see if I can make this bigger. What does it look like? Looks like that, right? So that should also mean if we're erasing like that, we should be able to you should be able to essentially erase, but leave a little bit like not white, but like it doesn't become completely white when we erase. That's the density I want. And I don't actually know if this is the brush I want to use, per se. Maybe if I can manipulate how the pattern works. Okay, there's that. And no, this might not be the brush I want to use. Let's go with friction. What does that look like? Okay, I've tried to use friction before as well. It's an interesting effect. Nope, that's not the effect we want. Definitely not this one, right? I think I kind of want something textury. This is cross-hatching. It has opacity. Of course it does that. What? Can I get it to do that without? Subsand. Well then, I think I might try that. It almost has like a berserk type feel to it. Let's see. I actually want to put that down to like 40. Okay. Hey, how's it going, Jerry? Thank you. I appreciate it. Now I'm going to go ahead and turn this layer off so I can go ahead and select this here. Go in here. I'm going to expand it by about 2 pixels. Turn this back on. Erase out. Or delete, right? So that brings us right down there. Hope that that's viewable. I don't know. Maybe I'll lift it up a little bit. Around like a 75-ish. Looks viewable. But at the same time, I wonder. I mean, I can see it. Trying to make sure it looks good. Further away. don't feel like I'm losing too much. I think I'll put it at around like 85, 90. 90 is fine, yeah. Okay, and yeah, the butterfly here. So what I will do, right? I'm not going to do a halo thing. I'm not going to do like a halo thing that you usually see in manga. What I'm gonna do is just have the wings kind of fluttering, and I feel like that effect will work pretty well. Okay, so that stands out, right? You can see this butterfly. It's also in the general direction of the Z's, so you wouldn't necessarily miss it. Cool. Kind of what I'm going for that. Don't need to add too much more there. Now, when it comes to this panel here, this is more pressing, right? So, I'm gonna still have her generally in the darkness. And I think since this panel is technically, it's gonna be dark, but not as dark, so it's gonna be lighter. So, what I'm gonna do, so I'm gonna go ahead and do another green layer here for backgrounds. I'm going to take the lightest value that I use and pop it in here. Pop that on down. Which is relatively that. I'm going to actually use a gradation this time, which I usually don't like to do all the time anymore. Let's see what that even looks like. Cool, that's kind of what I want. Yep, exactly kind of what I want right there. And what I'm going to use, so I'm thinking. I use this, we get that again. So I'll put the brush density up to like 51-ish. So I don't necessarily need that effect. Let's go with the airbrush, soft. And technically just, you know what, maybe I'll use, I'm always still experimenting, you know, like I don't always have everything mapped out. I do know what I'm generally going for, so that's always the fun part. Even sometimes I get a better idea. Okay. So dropping that in there. Of course we have this guy looking at what he's looking at in his eyes. Alright, Alright, so now I'm going to take this again and just hit this area. Oh, right. That'd be this. Now I'm going to erase away what I don't want. Oh, of course I have to be careful, so not completely erase. I'll use this. Any tips on drawing hands? Okay. My tip on drawing hands, tip on drawing hands. I honestly am not that good at drawing hands, so only thing I can say is try to find an aspect of the hand that, like when you're practicing, when you're drawing it, try to make your own notes on is interesting about the shape of hands. You can always look at other people's notes and try to use that, but also when you're drawing it from like actual hands, like when you're drawing it from people or yourself, try to start realizing patterns that you see, right? Um, some people, they may only need other people's references and notes and things of that nature, and that might work for them. But for the most part, I feel like we make the most progress when we have those notes to look at, but we also make our own notes. So, um, through repetition of noticing those shapes and those patterns that you see when a hand does a certain type of gesture, you'll begin to realize your approach to drawing down the general shape to even get started drawing the hand. Some people start off with well, I start off kind of like with a little square, like a little square block, and I can kind of build off of that and add like the wrist area and stuff like that. And the more I practice, the more I notice, oh, I could add this thing or I could add that thing, you know? Um, like I don't really think I'm that good yet when it comes to hands, but I have like an approach, and it's mainly just, I don't even know if this is a good color, but it's mainly just yeah, it's mainly just like me drawing down a general shape and being like, okay, what's the hand doing, you know? I'll draw like this cube shape. It's kind of like this, and then I'll be like, okay, the wrist is here, arm is here, and I'll just build off of it from there, and I'll figure out, okay, where's the thumb, and where's the other parts of the hands protruding from it. Fingers. Some people do it blocky. Some people do it more realistic, where most things are round. But you got to figure out your approach. And then there's just literally going, oh, that's wrong, and fixing it over and over and over again, right? That's kind of what I do. Once I have like an idea of what I want, I practice that, and I'm starting to try to organize more notes and stuff like that. So yeah, I hope this helps. But yeah, you can't just rely on other people's notes, like the ones you find online and stuff like that. They're great. They could be experts, you know. No matter how much they explain it, that's their way of figuring it out. Um, but you have to, like anything you study, backgrounds, places, you know, like places your characters might visit or anything you draw, you might go, oh, this place has this type of pillar. I wonder what it represents, you know? Um, uh, or just notice, oh, it has this peculiar shape about it. That could tell you the condition it's in. Like it might have this little bump, this little crack in it. Something could have happened to it. By you just being interested enough in what's going on, you might actually learn enough to remember it over time. Same thing when you look at a drawing of a hand. You know, your hand looks the same way until it changes its pose, right? Same thing with the face, right? So I would say just be generally interested in what you're drawing, and that'll always make learning about it work faster because you'll always remember those little small details. How's it going, Tactical Pegasus? Wow, why does this page look a little crooked? Now I'm looking at it. It's the bottom panels, aren't it? Isn't it? Yeah, it goes up a little bit higher on the right hand side. Either that or my vision is really bad right now. Right, so that was like a little note layer there. Here we go. So we're doing a little effect here. Definitely not going to explain it completely, right? Because I'm not trying to give away the story. But I am doing a little effect there for the butterfly you see. Cool. So I can also okay, so I could actually draw directly on this and add in some of the details from the wings. But I'm not going to completely. Because, you know, who the heck is going to zoom in this close to see any of this? Right. You guys know it's there, though, right? Alright, so the last thing I really want to do with this panel is just the only real thing completely in white. It's going to be Samara's eyes here. That's it. There we go. That's what I was going for. It's exactly what I was going for. I like it. You know, kind of did this thing where you can see that the Z's are going towards Halo and Samara's head. Looks like she's asleep. She's not. You can't even really see her completely, like in that part. You know, you're more so watching him. Like what's he doing with the butterfly? You notice this guy might be asleep, and then boom, like she's actually watching him. What the heck is this guy doing? You know. Yeah, I like that effect. Yeah, I like that a lot. So we go from a completely lit scene. We're not done though. I still have more to do on this side, but it's pretty much a lit scene here, lighting and everything wise. And then we go ahead into this darker part where time period has changed. Not time period, but time has changed, right? It's nighttime now, and we get to see this imagery here. So I'm going to jump back over here. We got the lighting here, so we know that we're going to have some shadow mostly on this side here. So I'm going to go ahead and set all that up. Another green layer. This one here. So all depends on how I really want to do this. But what I think I'll do is, what I'll do is I will kind of do something like this. And then I'm going to notice that this is not even the right layer type. And I'm going to change it to multiply. Cool. So I'm going to go ahead and fill in this general area here. Which one of these is it? It's this one, right? Yep. Now I'm going to go over to the bucket tool, and I'm just going to go ahead and take off all layers to current layer. And then I'm just going to go ahead and fill it. And I'm going to change it back to all layers. What I generally use. And now I'm going to also fill in the back area of all these things here, all these mountain forms. But I'm not going to make it overcomplicated. Just going to try and do some decent silhouettes or shapes for it. If anyone has any questions, go ahead and type them in the comment section. I am free to answer any questions you guys have. I'm pretty excited, honestly. Kind of got to work on every single page of this chapter, like together, like on YouTube, on this channel. When is my manga going to be published? I'm relatively publishing it freely on places like Webtoons and Tapas at the moment, but I'm holding on to a few chapters right now before I completely put them out for the public, because one, they need some more work here and there, and when it comes to webtoons, I haven't even started publishing there, so I've been trying to figure out a good schedule for everyone to like be able to do well on webtoon and also not overwork myself, I guess. But all that's coming. I'm also kind of working on getting all my stuff print ready. Um, it's difficult. Well, it was difficult when I first started out to even think about. The only thing I wanted to do was make good content, and I feel like I've kind of reached that point of making good content. And now I'm like, okay, well, how do I do this book stuff? You know, how do I get my book content and stuff like that ready? So I'm still learning more about that process, but it's not that difficult. You just kind of have to know you want to do a book and figure out how to keep using the template that you need to take to the printer or send to the printer. So you basically have to know what printer you want to go with. What I mean printer is like the service that will print your book. That's odd. Is there a little line going through there? Wrong thing. Let me see here. That makes no sense if it is. Oh, I think there was. Okay. Oh, it's from the fill because of course Clipsedio doesn't see that little part. Okay, that's fine. Alright. Getting somewhere. So my plan right now, everyone, is kind of like to work on my comics consistently with you guys on stream. Um, I'll probably end up using weekends to do things like script, you know, overviews and things of that nature to make sure that the writing and stuff is decent enough, and eventually get on a publishing schedule online where I can consistently upload a certain amount of pages every week. And so that might take me a little bit to get all that situated. But when I do, that'll be dope and great for everybody. But what I want to do is probably end up publishing by hand, like what is it called? Physically. Um, Probably volume 1 and 2 at the same time. That way I won't have to worry about um, getting a physical book out as quickly as possible, since I'm already going to be uploading most of the content, or a lot of the content, on a consistent basis digitally at the moment. So if you guys like the content, or if anyone likes the content, when I do publish the books, hopefully people can support it. So that'd be cool. But yeah, since I started at first when I was a bit younger, I didn't know as much as I know now. I know that I wasn't as consistent even with the page format and sizes and things of that nature. I wasn't aware of all the great tools in Clip Studio, which would have made that experience a lot easier. So I have a lot of work to do, just cleaning all that stuff up and getting it ready. Any random changes that I'd like to make before, printing and everything like that needs to be done. But this is kind of like the beginning of book 2. It's like chapter 1 of volume 2, technically, of all the work that I've done for this story. So I'm going to make sure that I keep this one, good, because I have all the ideas that I had that I didn't have at the beginning of the first book. So I'm going to use all that knowledge and kind of get this book correct. And I'll be basically fixing up the older pages on the side when I'm not working on this content. It kind of looks okay. We can do more though. So it seems like we have a stream going through here. So, okay, how about this? What we're gonna do is what we're gonna do. Actually, you know what? Do I have a selection tool available somewhere? Where would those be? Searching my mind more than what's on the canvas. Oh, okay. See, that's not it. Oh, I would have to paint unfilled area. Yeah, see, these are the tools I don't know anything. Oh, I'm on the wrong layer. Alright, we got it. I'm on the wrong layer anyway. Still not doing anything. It's a semi-transparent. Target all colors. I don't know how that works. That's okay. That is just fine. I don't need it. All I need is a big brush anyway. So that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna literally go past this whole stream. Get that to be a little bit bigger. See, that's a little bit too open there. Alright, you know what? That's fine. We'll just go ahead and erase it out. Not a big deal. So what I want to do, what I would like to do, is something a bit like this. So let's see what this looks like, right? It looks like that. So I'm going to do is select this color, so it'll stay on there. Goes okay. I'm going to expand it by about 2 pixels. It's there. Now what I should do is look up a freaking reference, but I'm trying to do it simplistically at the moment. And now to erase away all the things we don't need here. Go to office, right? So to make this easier, we can turn all that blue so we can see exactly where it is. Turn it to the best direction we can kind of produce with our arm. Because, like, you know, some people, well, everybody has like a good angle that they can kind of move their arm in. So you got to figure that out for yourself and figure out what that is. And then once you do, you know, that your arm can, I wouldn't say naturally, but like that's the best way to move your arm until you get comfortable trying to do more angles and stuff and practicing. It's basically like you use your shoulder and your elbow to kind of get these longer lines. So next time I guess I'll try to kind of make a more clothesline thing for this. Though I think that the line work looks better regardless as far as it having a little bit more character to it, because not all the lines are closed. Closed lines and a consistency of the same line width make sure line work look very flat. Having line width and open lines here and there gives your lines a lot more character to it. Because, you know, by just doing that, you can even play with lighting. So I think that looks pretty good, but I also feel like it's a little bit too dark. So I'm going to go ahead and cut and paste it, change the value or the opacity of the layer. That looks a lot better. 67, put it at about 70-ish. Nope, still too dark. So about 45 should be it. Still feels like it stands out a bit too much compared to everything else. I guess 25 is decent. Nope, 20. 20 is better. It almost kind of fades completely with that. So our eye should still stay here. We can like look around a bit, but you end up still coming over here. And also, let me see, what is the overall value change since this is down so low? So that's what that looks like, right? And what does this look like? Okay, so we could actually get away with dropping in some shapes for the back of these objects here now. Alright, it looks a little bit more like it has more personality and things of that nature here going on. So, yep, I think that works. And I'll be doing some tweaking and things of that nature in the future on it. You know, a little off camera. Haven't actually gone back and done much of that recently because, yeah, things have been a little bit different lately, but gonna definitely get back onto it. Oh, and this layer here might be perfect to also do a little bit more detail here, right? So let's see what that looks like now, right? It's pretty much that bright. Since it is, what I'm going to do is only this side, a little bit of this. Same thing with like some of these shapes down here. Alright, so they're soft enough to not like take your attention off of the focal point. So that's why I think that's a good idea. Cool. Everyone doing okay? How you guys doing? Sorry I'm a little quiet here and there. Get really focused a little bit. Just trying to, well, technically I'm just enjoying the picture or the picture making process. But I'm also thinking in the back of my head, you know, hey, remember, this is not a painting. Only do enough values to help tell the story. Um, and add a little bit of visual flair if you need it or want it to be there, but it's not a painting, so don't overdo the details. Oh, cool. You're just drawing? Awesome. Alright, so I'm going to add a little bit of something here. Oh, I should also do the same type of effect going on here. So I'm going to go around this whole thing except for the top. And then I'm going to erase out the butterfly. And Same thing here. So that I don't have to do a haloing effect. But if you put even a little darker value on top of something that is lighter and darker than it, then those things technically still stick out. And it's consistent with what's going on in the previous panels as well. So that's pretty cool. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and select this background here. Everything is on this side, so nothing to worry about as far as missing anything. I'm going to expand the selection area. And then I'm going to go ahead and do gradation and see what we get. Hold the shift key so that it's like that. So it seems the lighter one is up top. That's kind of what we want. Let me see here. That's fine. I just need to erase out the top part of it. And I'm going to use this soft eraser. It's an effect most of you probably won't see. Okay, yeah, it's very light. It's an effect I wasn't even seeing. Okay. Cool, we got our consistent lighting going on. Let me go ahead and add some more things that we're missing. Alright. So, issues I already have found. Let's go ahead and erase here. Yep, even that is better than it not actually being there. And no one's gonna zoom in that far to see. Alright, so now we're gonna go ahead and fill this area. I feel like that's too small for me to care about filling. General rule of thumb is kind of like if you need to add a value to an object that's going to be really tiny, no one's probably going to notice that that value probably isn't there. I think that looks okay. Let's back away and see what it looks like. It kind of stands out. It kind of does what it's supposed to. Alright, and what we're also going to do is I'm going to do like a very cheap lighting effect. If you guys ever seen, so I was always wondering when I was going to do this, because I'm a fan. If you guys ever seen Gurren Lagann, they have this thing they do sometimes where it's like this, it's a lighting where it's just straight line. It's like a straight shape type thing. I'm not explaining it actually better than that. It's literally that. It looks dynamic though, because it's unrealistic unless there's a door in front of you, right? And where is this at? Which stuff is this? Okay, cool. So that's not what I would do with that, but I would use this one. So yeah, it looks unrealistic unless there's a door in front of you. But like, I think that's what I'm gonna do with that. Actually, probably gonna start doing it more often because it kind of gets the general idea across. But it's also like, the comic artist did not feel like putting too much into this here, but knew he needed lighting. You know. Now the problem with using the that tool in particular, the what is it called, the polygonal tool, is that you get that hard edge at the end, and I don't want that. I want that hard edge. I kind of want a softer edge. Actually, I can go ahead and fill most of this guy since he's kind of in front here. Now I'm gonna erase. Maybe a little better. Let me see, undo. It's not even that different. Redo. Clip Studio has to load. Yeah, nothing really feels like it changes there, so I'm gonna leave that alone. Nice. Alright. Let me look around and see if there's anything else I want to add. Okay, let's see. See some part of the hair here is not filled in. Go ahead and do that now. Hmm. Yeah, I think it looks really nice. And I think it works well, actually, way more importantly. Like, I think it works well. Um, for some reason I clicked that. Why did I click that? Okay, cool. But yeah, I think it works well. Um, Let me move this out of the way. Maybe you guys can get a better view. So yeah, this is kind of like what the spread looks like. Okay, I see over here on the side, I didn't move the page over enough, so I know that the crop is going to be a little odd right there, so I'm going to have to move that over a bit more. But for the most part, I think it looks pretty cool, and it works well, right? I'm going to be adjusting things here and there. But for the most part, you got your first panel here, got these guys running off close to the edge of the cliff. We got like the trails right behind them with also a little bit of contrast because of the shadow on the ground behind them. We have them slightly being lit by the light that's more so abundant on the upper right hand side of the frame. You know they're gonna stop, but you see that they stop. Um, they start talking, or they mainly start looking. I actually didn't want to put a word bubble there because I wanted them to actually slightly take in the view and look around them. You know. Then he starts to talk in this panel here. He's still messing around with this freaking butterfly. Makeem walks past him, starts talking to the dang on cat. Makeem says something else. The butterfly flies off and gets close to him. And then it's nighttime. Halo's sleeping. We see Makeem still awake, messing with the butterfly. And then we see Samara kind of surveying him, like, what's this guy up to? I think it works pretty well. Um, so I'm very happy about that. It's one of the hardest things to get in comics is probably the balance of telling the story and also having some sort of detail or visual flair consistent. Uh, if you draw really well, you might get the storytelling part uh, wrong at first because you just want to flex, right? It's like, look, I can draw. Look, I can draw so well. Look at all the things I can draw. And that's great, but only when you kind of put the story first, because that's when people who really love comics or are getting introduced into comics will really see how well you can draw, because then they'll notice, uh, like when you pull back to tell the story more, and when it's time to show something that you really can show off with, like a double page spread or a panel or two on a page where you could go in and show details. Other than that, no reason to consistently flex line work wise, right? You got line work, you have lighting, values, and if you're doing this in color, you have understanding of how to use and manipulate color and emotions and things of that nature. Hmm. But yeah, thanks everyone for joining me today. This is technically the last two pages in the chapter. Throws make believe confetti at himself. We did it. We actually worked on each and every page up to this point on stream. Um, so that's been great. Actually had to redo a bunch of pages over the last weekend. Uh, let's see, right? Yeah, I had to work on a bunch of these. I wish there was a button that I could press where I could easily just kind of go through each one of these pages. Yeah, no, don't mind these values here. They're just there to help me color pick and throw them for the skin tone, hair, and all that good stuff. But yeah, I had to redo a bunch of work on these because I lost a bunch of that work. But, gotta do what you gotta do. And it was my fault anyway. So, yeah, lost a weekend, but I got more work done. And, yeah. So I think these pages all look pretty decent. They tell the story visually that I'm trying to go for. Um, Added some little stuff here and there. Make sure these things work well. And when it comes to line work, I'll probably adjust the line work a bit later, um, so that things are even more graphical, or they stand out better and stuff like that. I'm going to be adding sound effects where they need to be, digitally, obviously, since everything's already scanned. So wherever they need to be, I'll be adding those there, and then basically things will be done. So I might work on that throughout the weekend, see what I need to change, and I also might talk about that on Monday. So we'll probably also can go through some of that as well. So we'll go through kind of like sound effects that I've added over the weekend, and some of the ones I'll probably do on stream with you guys as well, um, on Monday. So that'll be pretty cool. If you guys aren't busy, you guys can stop by and check out some of that progress. And then after that, we'll relatively be done. And don't worry, I will not spoil you on what story is going, what's happening, other than the visuals. I'll keep all the dialogue and text to myself until it's, published online. You know what I'm saying? So no worries if you guys just want to read the comic eventually. I'm not going to give away anything as far as what's really happening other than the visuals. So if you're able to deal with that, you know, I think it's pretty dope content to check out. Oh no, did my computer crash? Computer, are you good? Oh, this is those pages. Yeah, I'm really a fan of how this turned out. I don't see much I would change. Probably look through, make sure that everything works again. Because I'm consistently doing that type of thing, going through, making sure things are the way I need them to be. Like little stuff like this, like how there's like pagination here, which is, page number here. It's like overlapping the eye. I'm like, ugh, like why is it doing that? I gotta figure out how to take that off or make it work when I want it to work. I think what I'll also do is I'm gonna have to take all that off anyway, um, because I'm probably gonna end up using a software called what is it called? InStudio, I believe. No, InDesign. It's called InDesign. Probably gonna be using a software called InDesign when I work on my book, and I don't need any pagination at this point on any of my Clip Studio files since they already have it in there. And if I have a page that goes all the way to the bottom, like this one here on the right, I wouldn't want the number to be sticking out there. I would want a page that, if you guys can see this little line here, right here, it kind of, well, I don't know if you can see that actually. Can you? There's a there's a little line around here that you might be able to see or might not. But this line tells me where the main frame of like the panel should be, whereas though you want to keep most of the hands of your characters, the eyes of your character inside that box, right? So I always try to keep my faces up like inside that box, and everything else. Oh, so also sound effects and text need to also fit in there. Everything else can kind of be left out or find a way out of that panel. But usually, if you're doing a regular comic book page that doesn't expand past that box, that's enough space to leave for the pagination, right? So, like on those pages is when I would want pagination. That's when I would want you to see what page number you're on. You know, so I don't need it right here more on both of these pages because I'm expanding all the way to the edge of both of them. So that's why I'm saying that. Oh yeah, this is one of my favorite spreads anyway. I really like the way this one turned out. I think I must be opening up too many pages because things are slowing down. I keep opening up pages. Oh, thanks, Kai. Yeah, no problem, man. Yeah. Trying to click off of these pages. I don't need them up anymore. But yeah, oh yeah, and I really love this. Like, yeah, this one and yeah, 16, 17, 18, and 19 are probably some of my favorite pages, and they're not even as action heavy as the other pages are. And I love me some action, some fight scenes and things of that nature. But when I can get like the action to kind of slow down, I can get like these moments where it feels like characters can kind of have a little bit of introspection. Those are the moments I really, really want to nail. Big fan of like Vagabond, Takahiko Inoue's work, and just looking at the images in Vagabond make you feel like, man, like these characters are alive. They're not even, you know, like no one's even drawing these guys. Like I'm literally watching these guys live on the page, you know, and that's amazing to me. You said expand? Expand what, sir? Sir Tavon, what would you like me to expand? Yeah, the program is running a lot better now that I don't have like all those pages up. But yeah, I really like the way this one turned out as well. Um, I chose not to add anything in the third panel behind it. The thought that I just wanted you to see, wanted you to focus on the eyes, but I do feel like there might be some dead space there. So I might want to put something back there. But it'll have to be very subtle because it would have to be like dark at the bottom or something, right? So what I'm thinking is kind of like, yeah, I'm just gonna start it, right? Just gonna go here and here. Get inside this bubble here. Inside that one. Go on this layer here. Okay, all of these seem to have their own things going on, so I'm just make a new layer. Go ahead, multiply, gray, and what I would do is I would turn this into darker value instead of black. Use the gradation tool again, but I would only try to go up like this high. Okay, well that didn't work. Undo. See, I missed a spot here. Okay, expand real quick. Okay, now let's see, what does that look like, right? Looks like that. Let's see here. Alright, so that looks like that. I kinda okay with that. I want to try something else. Kinda feel like that works better. Yep, I like that a lot better. So that's what I want to go with that page. A lot of gray on this page. Decent amount of white and black actually too. The good part is, like, again, it's a story moment, you know. So I didn't overdo it too much. It's relatively some flats, you know. Nothing like extra painted and stuff like that, except for like the last panel. I think I went crazy on like what is it 8 and 9 uh and 10. So 8 and 9 looks like this, right? Where it's just, you know, this page has all this detail going on with it, you know, kind of erase away that. Yeah, this page looks kind of crazy, the amount of like little stuff there. But I'll always try to maintain the value range, you know. And then we have this one here, which I was trying really hard to like make these subtle smoke effects happen, these dust coming off of this boulder. Also made sure the background wasn't too flat, so I'm very happy about that. I even added like a little lighting on this guy's face. Probably can't see it that well, but yeah, just a little bit, right? Just a little bit. So yeah, still have a little bit of work to do. I'm still learning, but yeah, I think I did a good job maintaining a decent amount of balance of like overwork, like kind of like these type of effects, but also like keeping things simple, you know? I think I'm starting to get better at that. Hmm. So yeah, everyone, if you enjoy the content, make sure to come back next week. We're going to be doing all this. We're going to be working through some of this again on Monday, going over adding certain sound effects and things of that nature that should be there. And the main focus on that is going to be also making sound effects that actually work for the scene. Um, you can't just write it any old way. You kind of have to say it like you mean it, right? Like like when you see a sign outside and it says, you know, beware, dogs are here, or something like that. Beware, dog is, in the house. So if you sit on a step, you might get bitten. Those signs are said with a purpose. They're supposed to be said, whereas though when you read them, you understand the intent in which behind they're written, right? So I want to try and create sound effects that work with the intent of the image, right? So they only help to accentuate exactly what that image is. Um, so for a random example, verbally, right? When I was working on a previous comic of mine, I had a character, I believe she kicked someone very hard, and to demonstrate how hard, she kicked them, I put the crack sound effect. But not only did I put that effect, like that sound effect, I let her crack the sound effect. I literally drew in some cracks in that sound effect to kind of to basically over accentuate the fact that that's how hard she's kicking. She has that type of force behind it. That's just what I enjoy doing with some of like my sound effects at this point. I like to play with them that way, almost like the characters can literally touch them, almost like they're a physical thing, but they're not, right? So that's what we're going to be working on next week. So make sure you subscribe if you guys want to be notified and stuff like that. And I'll see you guys next week at 9 p.m. It's usually when I start stream. So yeah, thanks for stopping by. Everyone, get some rest. Peace.